Sympathy and darkness? Sounds like a paradox, doesn't it? Until now, empathy has been understood as a trait of emotionally intelligent, highly sensitive people who seek to understand your pain and joy and offer support. Enter the term dark empath, and we find ourselves confused. A dark empath, often labeled as the most dangerous personality type, is a relatively new term that emerged from recent research. We know narcissists should be feared. They are selfish and manipulative. On the other hand, the typical dynamic pits the empath against the narcissist. Empaths are seen as victims with a pathological need to be kind and generous, bowing to the selfish demands of narcissists. But now we are learning that an empath can also have a dark, malevolent core. How is this possible? These studies describe dark empaths as individuals who exhibit a collection of dark personality traits, the dark triad, combined with a heightened level of empathy. A dark empath has cognitive empathy, an understanding of others' emotions, but paired with manipulative tendencies, selfishness and ruthlessness. That's how you end up with a master manipulator. Researchers have identified 3 negative personality traits known as the dark triad, or sometimes emotional vampires: narcissism, accompanied by selfishness, arrogance, grandiosity, and an inflated sense of self-importance; Machiavellianism, marked by a lack of morality, manipulation in relationships, self-interest, and a tendency to exploit; psychopathy, characterized by a lack of remorse, antisocial behavior, and impulsivity. What unites all 3 is their lack of empathy. The dark triad represents the combination of low empathy plus high dark traits. In the case of dark empathy, these dark traits are combined with high levels of empathy. In summary, the visual breakdown: dark triad equals sign, low empathy plus high dark traits; dark empathy equals sign, high empathy plus high dark traits. How does this dreadful combination create what is possibly the most dangerous personality type? What makes the dark empath the most dangerous personality type? To understand the significance of the dark empath, we must first examine empathy. Dark empaths can use this understanding almost as if extracting data from your mind to manipulate you for their gain. Because they have a mental map of your thoughts, they can predict your behavior, your reactions, and respond accordingly. They conceal their malicious intentions so effectively that it becomes nearly impossible to detect their abusive behavior or understand their motives. So, are we doomed to crumble before these Goliaths of manipulation and deceit? Can we confront them? Or, if needed, can we learn to cope, live with them, and take measures to protect ourselves from becoming victims of their actions? The first step is always identifying the problem itself. The American Psychological Association defines empathy as understanding another person from their point of view rather than one's own, or experiencing the feelings, perceptions, and thoughts of that person vicariously. However, empathy comes in 3 forms, each building on the other. Cognitive empathy, knowing what another person thinks or feels. For instance, I know you miss home. Emotional empathy, feeling what another person feels. For example, I feel sad because you feel sad when you're homesick. Compassionate empathy, empathy that leads to action with a desire to help. For instance, what can I do to make you feel more at home? An empathetic person not only understands how you feel, but also shares your pain and instinctively tries to help. However, something is different about dark empaths. They don't show a complete lack of empathy, but exhibit what is called broken or impaired empathy. They possess only cognitive empathy, meaning that dark empaths fully understand how you feel, but that's where it stops. This knowledge, without the desire to be kind, becomes dangerous in their hands. 5 signs of a dark empath. Their politeness feels insincere. Dark empaths know what to say. They're usually extroverted and charming and will often indulge you with love bombing, says Dr. Dhawan. They know how to behave around you, when to be kind, when to compliment, when to listen, when to give a pat on the back. They may ask how your day went, genuinely listen to your responses, hug you after intimacy, or look at you when you're sad and tell you how beautiful you are. But their compliments won't warm your heart. Something about their niceties feels unsettling, as though it's followed by a but, or something they plan to ask of you in return. They are masters of gaslighting and guilt-tripping. Dark empaths are experts at using others for their gain, says Dr. Dhawan. However, they often use indirect aggression instead of direct forms. Because they must maintain the appearance of your trusted confidant and best friend, they avoid direct aggression to protect their cover. Two of their preferred manipulation tactics are gaslighting and guilt-tripping, along with love bombing and ghosting. A dark empath lays the groundwork with you by saying what you want to hear. They understand your vulnerabilities and know exactly what is going through your mind. When you're ready to believe everything they say, they gaslight you. Inducing guilt works in a similar way. They find your weak spot and make you feel like you're always to blame. In such cases, your greatest asset is often your intuition. Trust it. If your intuition tells you that they don't mean what they say or do, it's likely that they are pretending to be sincere to manipulate you for their benefit. If not immediately, then sometime in the future. If your abusive partner, whom you think is your most understanding companion, makes you feel guilty over every little thing and causes you to mistrust your version of events, you are probably dealing with a dark empath who has ensnared you in their control. They struggle with low self-esteem. Yes, dark empaths are manipulative and self-serving, but at their core they grapple with low self-esteem and confidence issues. Dr. Dhawan notes, unlike the narcissist with an inflated sense of ego and self, the dark empath is self-aware and knows what they're doing. This also offers an advantage, which we'll see later. You may observe this manifest in different ways with a dark empath. They don't handle criticism well. They are overly self-critical and often express self-loathing. They may suffer from mental health issues such as anxiety and depression and are aware of it. They seek validation from others. They have a sarcastic and spiteful sense of humor. Freud described hostile or spiteful humor as inherently destructive. Psychologists point out that this is another tool dark empaths often use, as it's a less overt form of aggression. Since dark empaths are vindictive, sore losers, and can't handle criticism well, they may use humor as a defense mechanism to get back at you. Dark empaths may joke about you, and you might not even notice it. You may even laugh along in confusion, not realizing why you feel so bad. Does your partner frequently resort to sarcasm, make jokes at the expense of others, or use humor to convey messages they should ideally express politely? Is it difficult to point out when they've overstepped so that you can confront them? Be cautious. You might be dealing with a dark empath. They are emotionally intelligent but detached. With their cognitive empathy, dark empaths can identify what you feel. After all, they are empaths and thus possess high emotional intelligence. However, that doesn't mean they allow themselves to be vulnerable or show genuine emotions to you. A dark empath will be very secretive when it comes to their own feelings. They will strive to maintain the status quo, ensuring you don't see their poor mental health and low self-esteem. You might think your partner is overly kind, focusing all their attention on your problems, and only your problems. Are you both fixated solely on your issues while they ride their high horse pretending everything is fine with them? This could be a power play. It may help to take a step back and notice if they're hiding their true self from you with a hidden agenda. If you suspect that you're dealing with a dark empath, it's essential to approach the situation thoughtfully. Here are strategies that can help you navigate these relationships while protecting your mental well-being. Set firm boundaries. Dark empaths are skilled at overstepping personal boundaries without appearing aggressive. Make your boundaries crystal clear and hold firm to them. For example, if you feel manipulated or guilt-tripped, express your discomfort and make it known that such behavior is unacceptable. Standing by your limits shows them that you're aware of their tactics, which may discourage further attempts at manipulation. Trust your intuition. Your intuition is your best defense. If something feels off, don't ignore that gut feeling. It's easy to dismiss subtle signs of manipulation, especially when dealing with someone who is otherwise charming and seemingly supportive. But trusting your instincts is key in detecting when their behavior is driven by hidden motives. Minimize emotional vulnerability. Dark empaths feed on emotional openness and vulnerability. While you don't need to shut down emotionally, be mindful of how much personal information you share. Safeguarding your emotional well-being and maintaining some distance can reduce their power over you. Learn to say no. A dark empath might use charm or guilt to coerce you into situations or behaviors that serve their interests. Practice saying no assertively and without explanation. This reinforces your sense of control and indicates that you won't be easily swayed by their tactics. Stay objective. It's easy to get caught in the whirlwind of emotional manipulation. When dealing with a dark empath, try to view the situation through a logical lens rather than an emotional one. This objectivity helps you see through any facade they present and understand their true intentions. If a partner or friend's words or actions frequently leave you feeling drained or confused, consider the possibility of manipulation and act accordingly. Don't engage in power struggles. Dark empaths love to maintain a position of control. When you challenge them head-on, it can fuel their desire to outwit or undermine you. Instead of engaging in confrontational power dynamics, calmly assert your thoughts and move on. This prevents you from getting sucked into a cycle of conflict that leaves you more vulnerable. Seek support. If you're struggling to handle a relationship with a dark empath, it's wise to seek support. Talk to trusted friends, family members, or a professional therapist who can provide you with an objective view and practical advice. The right support system helps reinforce your confidence and emotional resilience, giving you the strength to manage the situation effectively. Consider walking away. If the relationship is harming your mental health and there's no sign of genuine improvement, you may need to walk away. It can be a tough decision, especially when dealing with someone adept at tugging on your heartstrings. However, prioritizing your well-being is paramount. Ending the relationship might be the only way to free yourself from the cycle of manipulation and regain a sense of peace.